Welcome back. We are set and ready to go for the first match of the 2010 season on the broadcast. We have Status Quo, our 8 seed, taking on Heaven and Earth, our 9 seed. And Scott, we got to take a look at our red lineup here. Status Quo, they're wearing yellow tonight, and they have the fans in the crowd. That, of course, is going to be Flame Sword, Ace, Enable, and Assault. I read it from right to left. You can do the same. Assault's on the left, Enable's in the red hair. Look out for those two. They're the new additions, and these guys were looking incredible at the LAN.
I mean, 44-11 and in one day's work says they were going to be incredible. But, you know, on the blue side, Chris, you have Heaven and Earth. This is the veteran team that I'm looking to see. I want to see the rebirth of Karma here. You know who these guys are. You have Nated, Karma, Killer Drew. He changed his hair. It's different for me. And then Clutch.
Yeah, Killer Drew shaving his head. It looks like Status Quo is all set, ready to go. And over on the other side, the blue team, Nated, Clutch, the new additions, of course. You have Karma and Killer Drew, who teamed for most of the season last year. Talking to Killer Drew in the Dr. Pepper Lounge earlier, he said, we are ready to go. We're all set up, and then he backsmacked Shibby and made me giggle. So he is a humorous fellow, and he's also got a nasty BR. I will be looking out for him in this matchup, guys, and these guys are all set and ready to go. So let's get right into the games. And we're going to kick this one off with map number 1. It is going to be Capture the Flag on Onslaught. Taking a look at Onslaught, guys, of course, there's no power weapons. It's all about the battle rifle. And, of course, it's the first team to score 5 flags on this map. Scott, what are going to be the keys in this matchup?
The keys in this are always the same. You stay up top, and you don't overextend yourself for a flag. You just wait for your teammates to have perfect position, and then you pull the flag. If you overextend, it's a fast game type. You can lose it very easily.
All right, so here we go. We are getting this game started. Right now it looks like we have Heaven and Earth trying to push the top. Nated already aggressively pushing into the base. And there he's got Flamesword coming off the spawn there over at the B dump. But guys, we're just going to lay out for a little bit to start this game off. We have Heaven and Earth facing off against Status Quo. It's a best-of-5 series. The first team to win 3 games will advance to most likely play Triggers Down tomorrow. It's going to be a huge one. Nated, we're going to stay on him for a little bit, guys. He was the Stride Player of the Year. When it comes down to slaying, there's no one that does it better than Nated, in my opinion. We're going to stay on his screen.
In the basement. Ace is spawning the base. Ace on the base. B. They're spawning B, guys. Let's kill them. Let's get that flag going.
Oh, fuck. They spawned A, dude. 2 of them spawned A.
Alright.
The basement's weak.
Yeah,
On their A now. They're A street. They're A street.
Okay, we're fine.
In front of you. Right in front of you. Top A. Top A. They're A street. They're A street. Top A. Top A. Top A, dude. Top middle A, dude. Top middle A. Top middle A, dude. Top B. Top B.
Last guy.
They're B corner. They're going up. Right inside the beat him. They're beat him. They're beat him. They're B corner. And under their base. Please. I got B. That's 3 days.
When they're being covered.
On their A. On their A.
One shot.
They're A down, dude. They're A down.
Nice shit. There's 2 down.
They're A down, dude. Bottom center, dude. Ace bottom center. Ace bottom center weak. I got him. On the very stairs, dude. One shot. On the clear. Got Ace there. Let's go.
Spawning A.
And right now we have the flag in the hands of Nated coming out of the Astro. Listen in for you guys. Check them out. Looks like Heaven Earth going to be the first team to put this flag, and no one from Status Quo in position to stop. And not only did they get the flag cap, Scott, they're also keeping control because Karma just picked up a clutch double.
Now, the interesting thing about this team, they stayed on the bottom. Clutch, on Believe the Hype, always stayed on the bottom, and I guess he took his own playing style and adapted it to his whole team. You watch Karma go in from the other side as the Status Quo squad was distracted, and he took advantage of it. And now you see they have 2 caps, and they still are in position to have control. You see Clutch pushing in on the base still. This team is playing well.
That's right. As we were watching, Nated, Karma ran the flag down bottom. B put it in. So now Heaven and Earth, just after 3 minutes, looking like They have nothing to fear against the Status Quo squad. They're in complete control, up 2-0 already.
And what you really see from this Heaven and Earth squad early is the aggression. You've seen Status Quo put 3 down, but they weren't able to get in position to move the flag. That's not the problem on the Heaven and Earth side. They stay aggressive all the time, and that results in flags.
And Nate somehow staying alive way too long there for Status Quo. Killer Drew is the last member alive, so we're switching over to Ace from SQ. And Scott, when we were watching the Status Quo montage together, Ace had probably about 70% of the clips that were in that. Talk to me about this player.
Well, you know, Chris, he's a very under-the-radar player because he's shadowed by his brother. And, I mean, you can't really blame the crowd for doing that because his brother's Elamite Warrior. He was on straight rip, and he's a national champion. But he's a very fundamentally sound player. He has the ability to play any play style. You never see him just always go for the sniper, always go for the objective. He's always that player who kind of fills in. And by doing that, he doesn't get a lot of spotlight. But when you put the weapons in his hands, he's going to make plays. Right there, if you notice what he did, he didn't chase after Naded. He put 2 shots in Naded, put 2 shots in Karma. That makes both those players weak, and they can't get an angle on the flag.
And he shut down the entire B side of the map by himself, getting a little bit of help from his teammate. Meanwhile, Enable was able to put in that flag. It's already tied up 2-2. This one's a fast one. So Ace continuing to try and spawn camp here. He's finally going to be taken down. We're going to jump on board with Assault. He is inside of the base. He was actually just taken down, and we're going to actually stay on board with this guy for a little bit because, Scott, I know nothing about him. Do you?
From watching the LAN network a little bit, I can tell you one thing. He goes positive versus top 8 teams. That's about it. I'm eager to see how his playstyle is.
And we are going to check him out. Assault's first time on the main stage looking to perform. He has Killer Drew down to no shield, sitting in the maze. He has fire coming from all directions, but it seems that he's able to pick up 1 kill before being taken down. The SQ flag is still out. Enable, the only player alive to defend it, and Naded is going to put that flag in as Heaven and Earth come back on top. They're now leading 3-2. And we're going to jump on board with Karma. He's trying to fight out of his base, or he's fighting into the SQ base, and he just 4-shotted to get there.
Now, if you want to know the route Karma just took to get this flag, he went up the opposite side of his teammates were pushing, and he sneaks into the base, doesn't jump on the box, doesn't spawn kill, just pulls the flag, and that's how he gets this cap.
And there we go. Heaven and Earth is up 4-2. Wow.
And, you know, a lot of people don't put too much emphasis on the first series, but when I talked to Clutch, he told me this is the most important series. If we win this series, I have the confidence that we could beat Triggers down. It was the same situation that I had with Believe the Hype in Orlando.
Now, not to get ahead of myself, but the one thing we realized from last year, which we should have taken into consideration in the pregame show, is that you can't base everything off of LAN scores. What we do, we gave Status Quo too much credit because of LAN scores again, just like we did last opener, and now they may not perform. I'm not saying they already lost this, but based on this game, I would say they aren't as prepared as everyone made them out to say.
Yeah, Status Quo, we've noticed that they have never come out as good as we have wanted them to. They never came out with the buzz that they never followed their buzz, and that's what you really lose with Status Quo. Heaven and Earth, they're producing right now.
And there we have the score 4-3. Naded trying to keep Enable out of his base. All of SQ is trying to push in there, guys. And now it looks like Heaven and Earth is coming back for a counter cap.
And you know, we talk a lot about Status Quo's LAN. Nobody talked about Heaven and Earth's LAN. They played Active Rush, a pretty good team, beat them pretty handily, 77-23. Talked to Clutch about that too. He told me, yeah, it was 6-5 early on. Oh, and look, we're about to end this game.
Here we go. 5-3. Heaven and Earth takes game 1. So Heaven and Earth taking game 1, getting fired up after that one. And now it's time to take a look at the stats. Killer Drew dropping +8, Karma right behind him with +7. Yeah, it's not the 2 guys they added to the team. It's the original ones going off in that game. Enable putting up the +3 there for Status Quo. But Heaven and Earth overpowers them in game 1, taking that one 5-3. So here we go. Game 1 is now done. The guys are getting geared up and set for the second game. You know, Game 2 and Game 5 of the series are always Team Slayer. We're going to be going into Team Slayer on Narrows coming up next. And Scott, I really need to know, what is SQ going to need to do differently in this game to tie up the score 1-1?
Well, they're going to have to utilize when they have 3 down more often. They rarely got control in that last game type, and it showed that they only got 3 caps from it. Every time Heaven and Earth got 3 down, they've got a cap instantly out of it. They're really good at keeping control. Status Quo just needs to set up a little bit better, and I could see them taking this game.
All right, well, now it's time to take a look at the map. Here we go. It is Team Slayer on Narrows. So, Scott, of course, on Narrows, you have to control top middle. That is the key to victory, CTF or Team Slayer. There's 2 sniper rifles on the map, and of course the rockets bottom middle. If you can control the power weapons, you can control the pace of the game. We're going to look for SQ to try and get out to an early start on this one, and we're going to be starting this one off with Nated of Heaven and Earth. He was hot for a little bit there, sparking 2 of the 5 caps. Let's see what he does to get this one going. All right, so already we have 2 players from Heaven and Earth down. Nated has no shield, but he's going for the rockets, and he fell off the map.
Well, he needs to make sure he moves here sooner.
All right, so Nated out of the game for a minute, but this guy is not. Ace has the sniper rifle here for SQ. He actually pulled that one from the Heaven and Earth base. He was taken down. We're going to jump on board there with Enable. He is spawn camping the man cannon side of the map here for SQ. And actually, we're going to stay on board with Ace right now, as Enable is going to run away from that location, trying to hide from the power-up. At the power-up, meanwhile, you have Karma sitting top middle with the sniper rifle, and that is not a weapon we normally see Karma with, Scott.
No, not at all. There was only one exception when he went to, in 2007 with Dallas, when he picked up the sniper, and he just didn't stop with it, and I said, okay, dude, you can take it from me. I'll let you have it this time, but I'm getting it back next event.
He did justice that tournament, though.
And there we go, switching over to Enable. I wanted to watch him earlier. Now you have him, and he's picking up double kills. Perfect flank here, Scott.
Yeah, that's perfect right there, Chris. He's picking up the triple kill.
He got greedy.
Everyone has to do it. It happens. You can't help it. But what he did right there is he didn't waste his nades. He took his time. He waited for all the team to get top middle, and then he sneak attacks them, and then boom, you get a triple killing spree. And if he would have played it a little bit smarter, he'd have snipers.
So here we go right now, taking a look at all 8 players. We just had Flamesword pick up a double kill. He is patrolling the spawns over at that Heaven Earthen base. Meanwhile, Nated, he's being really sneaky. Just came up from the power-up, threw flag, picked up the kill on Enable, and now he's shooting back at Flamesword, who's at his base. Nated trying to do a little too much there, Scott, and he's going to be taken down.
Yeah, and the thing with Nated is he always tries to do too much. I mean, he's such a good player, but he's kind of like Neighbor in a sense that he doesn't put all the faith in his teammates that he should. Right there, if he was on a different team that he knew players were better than him, he probably would have just went for the flank.
And right now, Nated helping his team even the score up a little bit. It's 19-17. Only 2 minutes, 15 seconds off the clock. Pretty fast-paced game here, and it's pretty even. No real control established here for the power-ups.
And the reason that is because both teams are executing their flanks very, very well. You've seen Nated be behind the Status Quo team a lot, and you see Enable come up, get a triple kill with the rockets and the killing spree. Their flanks are very well, so what that shows me is that both these teams need to work on their awareness top middle. You can see bottom middle from top middle through the little glass floor, so they need to utilize that more.
I see that, Scott, and right now we're going to jump on board with the shaved head of Killer Drew. He's rocking the gunners, and he's got the sniper rifle out, and he has Flamesword not even moving, just barely missing that shot wide right. And now he's helping out, finally connecting with that headshot. 24-22. Killer Drew's going to be taken down, and we're jumping on board with Clutch.
I was just about to point to him.
And Clutch is going for those rockets, Scott. D-Mac, you're up in the booth. What are you liking?
Well, right now, I'm really liking the aggressive play style, and I really noticed I wanted to go on a little rant about Nated. I held off. What I really like about Nated is, yeah, I work a lot with stats, but when I go back and watch the VOD, the stats don't talk enough about Nated. The aggression that he puts on other people opens up a lot of opportunities for his teammates, and that creates a lot of kills for Clutch, Killer Drew especially, and Karma, one of the better support players.
And Killer Drew just got a no-scope of a player going over the man cannon. I had to switch right back to him. He's going for it again, barely missing Assault, and perfect grenades there from Assault to take him down while going over that cannon. All of Status Quo looks like their goal right now, Scott, is just to push into the Heaven and Earth base.
And you know, when you get set when you have one set strat and you don't have alter strats, this is what happens. You keep going into this bottleneck, and if a team realizes that, you're just going to get punished. You have to be versatile. And this league, especially, you don't know what teams are going to come to play, so you always have to be prepared.
And Enable is now on a killing spree after connecting with a headshot. Now going up against Naden, and he's getting a little greedy as well. But let's stay on board with Enable. Scott, you talked a little bit about him on the pregame show. What do you like about Enable's gameplay?
The one thing I like about Enable's gameplay is he uses the crowd to motivate him, which you don't see a lot of young people do. When you look at Status Quo last year, you see them being afraid of the crowd. They always did better on the feature station than they did on the main stage, and that's because the attention really does make you play differently. So you take Enable, who can play under all those circumstances, and he just performs.
And D-Mac, what's up, buddy? What are you watching here?
Right now, I'm grabbing my stats, but what I'm looking at is how Status Quo plays at the end of games. This is what's really important. How they respond to the pressure. Look at this. They had a healthy lead. They've let it go. They've let it slip. If they lose this game, is Status Quo going to be able to bounce back? That's been their biggest problem. Down late in series, they don't bounce back like they should.
I couldn't agree more with that statement.
And it is 44-41. Clutch trying to help his team get back in this one. They are trailing late in the game, and Status Quo, well, they all seem to be happy with Ace sitting back in their lobby and sending Flame Sword over Cannon. Scott, what can we expect to see out of this SQ push here? It looks like Heaven and Earth trying to set up for defense top middle.
Well, I see this push getting shut down, in all honesty. Heaven and Earth was really prepared for it. They saw him man cannon over. If they probably would have waited a couple seconds, it could have been different. But I just see Heaven and Earth shutting it down.
And you see Clutch chasing after Assault. Assault stole his sniper rifle, picked up a headshot. Flame Sword coming right back over that man cannon for the assassination, and there they go. They get 50.
That was an impressive win by Status Quo there.
Status Quo coming back for those Team Slayers. And they're feeling all calm, cool, and collected. There's Enable taking a sip of water. That is game 2. It's all tied up 1-1. And guys, let's take a look at the stats. And there are the stats. Assault putting up +7. We saw him connect with the no-scope over on the man cannon side. Enable, he had the killing spree, which helped him go +4. Nated, the only player for Heaven and Earth, going positive. Status Quo ties it up 1-1.
And if we took anything from that first game or from the first 2 games, you see that Status Quo is geared more towards Team Slayer, especially the 2 players that they've picked up in Enable and Assault. Those players really play well when it comes to Team Slayer, but on the other side, Heaven and Earth, great objective.
All right, so there it is. It's all tied up 1-1. We're going to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, it's time for some King of the Hill.